Well, Graham, welcome to Motherwell Football Club. Congratulations on becoming our new manager. What can Motherwell fans expect from you as a manager of this club?
I think they'll get to understand what the hard work that I put in, my assistant will put in, my staff, my players. I think there's no way of being successful without that hard work and commitment to your game. And whichever club you play or work for, then it has to be 100% focus. And that's what I've always brought to my clubs, both as a player and as a manager. And it won't be any different this time.
What attracted you to this particular challenge here?
It's something different. It's something that I'm really excited about because I don't know everything about it. I've been a manager now for 7-8 years. I've had 3 clubs in England. I've had success with all those 3 clubs. But this is a bit out of my comfort zone. I've generally been someone that's been up for a challenge. When something different comes along, I've never shirked away from it, and there's certainly a challenge here, but it's something that I've always heard good things about Motherwell as a club. I actually spoke to Steve Robinson because I'm an ex-teammate of his, and everything that I've heard is complimentary about what type of club it is, and I got that across from the board members when I spoke to them a couple of days ago. So I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, as you say, a former Scotland international but never played or managed here. So what are you expecting from this league?
I think it's one of those where I think because I've been based in England for 30 years or so, I think there's a misconception about what Scottish football is. I know what it is because obviously I played for Scotland. I've got a lot of friends that are still playing in Scotland or managing Scotland, and I know the standard is very good. And I want to test myself against these managers, these clubs, and go to different grounds that I've not played or managed at, and compete against different people. And I think there's a lot of quality in Scotland, both on the coaching side of it and the playing side of it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what quality we can produce as a club.
This is a club, along with trying to win games, will produce young talent and bring players in and try and develop them. What qualities and experience would you say you have in that field?
Yeah, well, I think as an ex-player myself, you have to be given that opportunity or I wouldn't have had a career, so I always take that into account, that if someone hadn't have trusted me as a young player at that age, then my career would never have flourished in the way it did. So you always get to a level where you have to pass that on. And for me, I've got a track record. When I came out of playing, my first coaching role was in charge of the youth academy at Preston. It gave me a good grounding in coaching, but understanding the actual link between the young players and what's needed to get to the senior squad. And I've got a track record, if you look at my teams at my 3 clubs, that I've always had young players playing in those teams. I played until I was 40, so I'm the last person to judge a player on his birth certificate, whether it's at one end of the scale or the other, and it'll be no different here.
It's well documented this is a team that came 3rd last season and are struggling this season. What's the first point of order for you in trying to turn that around?
Well, the obvious is win Saturday. It's I think what is good to look at is you're right in at the deep end. It's a different job for me because the 3 clubs I've had before was about chasing promotions. Obviously, you can't win promotion from this division, but I want to get us into the top half of it and be competing where you're probably exceeding expectation of what's expected, but it's good. I want to achieve things that I haven't done before, and it was a great season. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I spoke to Robbo about this. A couple of cup finals, finishing 3rd last year. So the challenge is there, but I've followed successful managers in previous jobs. It's the challenge that I want to take on, and I believe that looking at the squad, which I have done over the last few days, I think it is underperforming. When I spoke to Robbo, he thought the same. There's talent there. I think we're in a month where we can make additions to that squad, but there's no way I see that group of players being where it should be. And there's a myriad of reasons why that is, but it's a fresh start for everyone, and we're looking to start off with 3 points on Saturday.
And those are the short-term objectives. What would you say your long-term objectives in this role would be?
Well, I want to tick the boxes that the board spoke to me about, and about, because you go from club to club and a level at different levels, and you have to ascertain what they see as success as well. And so they were quite clear about that, about what they see as success for Motherwell. I want to match those expectations. I want to exceed them. So I think the challenge is there in the long term to try and establish the club in the top six and be around those European spots, being in the later rounds of the cups regularly rather than it being the odd occurrence. And I think I've been in the game long enough to understand that anything is possible. I know it. It happened myself with my own career, playing for Scotland at the age I did, and that which I'd never expected to do, but I never gave up hope of achieving something that people haven't done. And I think I've seen that if you work hard enough and you believe in it as much as you can, that you can achieve whatever you want. But there's a lot of hard work that has to go into place to make that happen. And it's certainly not down to me as an individual. I think it's a whole group of people that has to make that happen. But I think part of the role of the manager is to bring everyone together and work in the same direction. And that's the first sort of post that I'm going to have to try and get working, and making sure that that's in place. Because I know what it's like when if you are having bad results and struggling, it's easy for people to split and factions to happen. But I think it can be remedied by good management and having good people around. And I think we have good people around at this club.
Graham, thank you very much. All the best in your new role.
Cheers.